बैठो मेरे को आप पे बैठो मैं थानू गुरु नानक देव जी बारे दसना मैं थानू गुरु तेग बहादुर जी बारे दसना मैं थानू गुरु अर्जन देव जी बारे दसना the seeds that you put in your children now even afterwards ਜੇ ਉਹ ਹੋਰ ਪਾਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਚੱਲ ਗਏ they will always come back I think I talk to a lot of people around the world and I know so many people ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਗਲਤ ਪਾਸੇ ਚੱਲ ਗਏ ਸੀ they might have started doing drugs ਜਾਂ they didn't have kids or they basically were in nightclubs or they had affairs and everything else ਪਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਪਤਾ ਆ if they did part at any time or simran at any time in their life or they had chula ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਵਾਪਸ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ because ਉਹ seed ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਆ that seed of Gurbani that seed of Sage ਹੈ so these things are very important so ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਲੇਸ਼ ਘਟਾਓ like I did before I'm just going to share screen again so I said in terms of Guru Sahib so they are good role models Mata Gujri is a perfect role model in terms of how to look after your children. Now, if you're a grandparent like Mata Gujri, and I said last week, Makiasi, we were talking about how do you create good Sikh children, good Sikh bache. And Makiasi, sometimes what you do is you start 20 years before the child is born. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and Mata Gujri, for 20 years, unhone bhakti kiti. And the bhakti, the collective result of that bhakti is when they had a child, or child was Mardagambara, Guru Gobind Singh. No one on this earth has ever been in comparison of Guru Gobind Singh. That's why we say Mardagambara, that there's no one even near him. And the result of his bhakti was the Char Sahibzade. And this is what you can do. If you have a bhakti-filled jivan, you will create these things. But appa ki karde hai? What is our relationship with our children? Appa ki karde hai? So I want you to think about apna relationship kiya with our children. And one thing I notice in America, because your relationship klesdaya, you make your children less confident. You make them scared. You make them think, I don't want to get married. What happens in marriages? People just argue. Well, what you do is, kai lokan di life ਏਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਪੈਸਾ ਹੀ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇਖੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਈਫ ਅਤੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਵਾਈਫ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਆ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਪੈਸਾ ਹੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ other people ਉਹ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ they're so depressed they have unhealthy relationships with food or drugs or alcoholism and the children like that guri in the picture on the bottom before all be same ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ because they just want to get out of the house because house ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਲੇਸ਼ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ so they basically want to get out they want to escape So they start experimenting with drink and alcohol and everything as well. And you're creating destructive relationships in your houses. But we create a beautiful relationship so that we have a beautiful relationship with God, with Waheguru, but we also have a beautiful relationship with everybody around us. Because this is what happens is, if you start looking for that beauty, that beautiful comes around you. It comes as part of you. So you're not like this, where everyone else, ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਦਿਖਾਲ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਘਰ ਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਲ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਆ but actually in that ਪਰਿਵਾਰ people are depressed or they have anxiety ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ domestic violence situation ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ or some people are addicted and ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੁਕਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ we're very good but ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ time that comes out yeah these are the things that happens so going back to here. Has that been helpful so far? So I think about your relationship with your buzurgs. Make that relationship better. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ what is your relationship with your children, with your grandchildren? ਕੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਸ ਇਹੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਖੇਲ ਲਿਆ ਕਦੀ ਕਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਪਾਠ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਗੁਰੂ ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸੋ have them sitting with you, talk to them about your life experiences. My grandfather, he used to tell me about what happened in partition. He would tell me about all the things that happened in his life. This is the life history, and we have this thing in UK called the Life History Project, where all our buzurgs, we're writing their life stories down so we can document history of the immigration experience of people coming from Punjab or Africa, because we have a lot of people come from Africa to UK as well, and what their lives were coming to UK. So we're documenting their history so we can learn the lessons of that history. You know? And the ultimately thing, what is your relationship with your bache? है ना? ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਕੀ ਆ? ਕੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਇਹੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਦਿੰਨੇ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਣਾ ਦਿੰਨੇ ਆ, ਕੱਪੜਾ ਦਿੰਨੇ ਆ, and that's it, because ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ। ਪਰ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗਿਆਨ ਦਿੰਨੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਵਿਜ਼ਡਮ ਦਿੰਨੇ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ। ਹਨਾ? ਉਹ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿਣੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ। ਹਨਾ? ਉਹ ਮੋਬਾਈਲ ਫੋਨ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿਣੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ। ਹਨਾ? ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਰੇ ਸੋਨੇ ਦੇ ਬਣਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਯਾਦ ਰਹਿਣੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਰਹਿਣੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕੀਤਾ, ਪਾਠ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਆਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਰਹਿਣੀਆਂ। ਹਨਾ? ਸੋ tell me something, ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਇਲਾਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਿਆਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, they have a baby born in their house, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਘਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, and ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਘਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, as you're leaving, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ $20 ਕੱਢ ਲਓ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪੁੱਤ ਆ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਲਈ ਪਿਆਰ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈਣਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈਣਾ, ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਆ, ਪਿਆਰ ਆ। ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ? Have you seen that happening in your houses? And they have this like mini like tussle, like a little thing, ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਲੈਣੇ, ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਲੈਣੇ ਆ, ਪਿਆਰ ਆ, ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਲੈਣੇ, ਹਨਾ? And the reality is ਪੈਸੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਦੋਂ ਬਣਿਆ? Tell me that. When did paisa become pyar? Hana? And I'll explain that to you. ਸਾਡੇ ਇਲਾਕੇ ਚ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨਿਆਣਾ ਹੋਵੇ, then ਇੱਕ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ, ਉਹਨੇ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ when he was born, ਉਹਦੀ ਪੇਂਟਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਦੇਣੀ ਆ। ਇੱਕ ਬੀਬੀ when my son was recently born, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੱਥ ਲਿਖ ਗੱਤਕਾ ਲਿਖ ਕੇ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੁੱਤ ਲਈ ਗੱਤਕਾ ਆ। ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਗੱਤਕਾ ਸਿਖਾਉਣਾ, ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਸਿਖਾਉਣਾ। ਸਾਰੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀਆਂ ਲੈ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਕੋਈ ਪੈਸਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਉਹ $20 ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਪੈਕੇਟ ਨੈਪੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਰੀਦਦਾ। ਪਰ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਸਿਖਾਉਣਾ, ਉਹ ਲਾਈਫ ਲਈ ਆ। ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਿਖਾਉਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੀ, ਉਹ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੀ ਆ। ਇਹ ਅਸਲੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਆ, ਇਹ ਅਸਲੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਆ। ਪੈਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾ ਬਣਾਓ। when I did talks in American ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੋਲਿਆ, ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਨੋਟਿਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖੀ, ਹਨਾ? ਉਹ ਇਹ ਆ, ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਇਲਾਕੇ 'ਚ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ, when a child is 16 or 17, ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਬਰਥਡੇ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਰੱਖ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਨਵੀਂ ਗੱਡੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਖਰੀਦ ਕੇ ਦੇ ਦੇਣੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਆਹ ਲੈ ਪੁੱਤ, ਆਹ ਲੈ ਨਵੀਂ ਗੱਡੀ। and I've seen it a lot in California, ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ I was totally shocked, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੌਕ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਮੰਮੀ ਡੈਡੀ ਕੋਲ ਟੁੱਟੀ ਜੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਓਵਰਟਾਈਮ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਨਿਆਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਵੀਂ ਗੱਡੀ ਖਰੀਦ ਕੇ ਦੇਤੀ। ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਿਆ, ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਉਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੇ, ਹਨਾ? My parents came to UK in 1965 and they got married in UK, ਉਦੋਂ 18-19 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਸੀ। Me and my brother were born. ਮੇਰਾ ਡੈਡ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ British Airways at the airport, and then ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨੇ 4 ਘੰਟੇ ਸੌਂ ਕੇ then ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੰਸਟਰਕਸ਼ਨ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਚਲਾਉਣੀ, and ਸਾਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਉਹਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹਾਰਡ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ। and my mum, she used to get up at 6 o'clock, go to work at 6 o'clock, so ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਖਾਣਾ ਖਿਲਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਕੂਲੀ ਰੈਡੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, 8 ਵਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਸਕੂਲੇ ਜਾਣਾ, and she used to come home from work at 7 o'clock at night. ਸਾਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਮੰਮੀ ਡੈਡੀ ਨੇ ਹਾਰਡ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ to get me and my brother to go to the best schools. So when me and my brother, we got graduated and we got really good degrees and really good jobs, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਮੰਮੀ ਡੈਡੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਰਿਟਾਇਰਡ ਆ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਟਾਇਰ ਕੀਤਾ। ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਖਰੀਦ ਕੇ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਪੁੱਤ ਤੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਨਕੰਮਾ ਦਾ ਨਕੰਮਾ ਰਹਿ, ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਓਵਰਟਾਈਮ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਊਂਗੀ, ਹਨਾ? ਮੈਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਊਂਗਾ, ਤੇ ਕੋ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਡੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋ ਟੁੱਟੀ ਭੱਜੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪਰ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਾ ਕਰ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਰਿਟਾਇਰ ਕਰੀ, ਤੂੰ ਬਸ ਫਰੈਂਡਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਨਾਲ ਖੇਲੀ ਜਾਈ। ਐਂਡ ਦ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਆ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਬਣਾ ਲਿਆ, ਪਿਆਰ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਾਇਆ। Does that make sense? ਐਂਡ ਜਿੱਦਣ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ। ਪਰ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਆ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ। Does that make sense? है ना? So basically think about what is the relationships that you're having with your children. Base them on wisdom and gurbani. Don't base them on basically just items and materialism. Look at your family structure and basically ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ. So I'm going to tell you a story now, and this is quite a brutal story. But ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, we bring reality, and ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਦਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. And some people ਕਈ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਆ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ, ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ 'ਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਆ, ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਆ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਂਡਲ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਨੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ. So imagine ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ you've got a daughter, and ਉਹ 14 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਆ, ਹੈਨਾ? 14 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਡਾਟਰ ਆ. Just imagine hypothetically, ਹੈਨਾ? ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਪਤਾ ਉਹ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੀ ਆ, ਹੈਨਾ? ਕਈ ਬੱਚੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਆ, ਕਈ ਬੱਚੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ. ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ 14 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਸਿਗਰਟ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ, ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਗਏ ਸੀ ਹੌਲੀਡੇ ਕਰਨ, ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਭਈਏ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਖੇਤਾਂ 'ਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ. ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਆਹ ਬੀੜੀ ਆ, ਸੂਟਾ ਲਾ ਲਾ, ਅਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ I never seen that before, ਮੈਂ ਦੇਖੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੀ. ਮੈਂ ਲਾ ਲਿਆ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਲਟੀ ਆ ਗਈ, and I was unwell. ਮੈਂ ਡੈਡੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦਾ, ਡੈਡੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਟਾਪਾ ਚਾੜਤਾ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ, ਸਾਡੇ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਰਾਬ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗਾ ਆ, ਹੈਨਾ? And then when I was 14 odd, ਸਾਡੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, and we went to a top grammar school, ਸਾਡੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁੰਡੇ they would go to the parks at lunchtime, ਉੱਥੇ whiskey ਦੀ ਬੋਤਲ ਲੈ ਕੇ and they ਗਲਾਸੀਆਂ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, and then we used to go back to school, ਹੈਨਾ? ਪਰ ਮਾਪੇ ਕੀ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਸਕੂਲੇ, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ, ਹੈਨਾ? ਸੋ ਇਮੈਜਿਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਡਾਟਰ ਉਹ ਸਕੂਲ 'ਚ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ, ਉਹਦੀ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, ਹੈਨਾ? ਉਹਦੀ ਫਰੈਂਡਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀਆਂ, and ਉਹ ਸੋਚਦੀ ਆ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਕੀਤਾ, ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਆਮ ਹੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਆ, ਹੈਨਾ? And so it builds a confidence. ਉਹ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਗਈ. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, and this is why making your child your best friend is very important. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਆ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਉਹ ਡਾਟਰ ਨੇ ਘਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਮਮ ਡੈਡ ਅੱਜ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ, this boy, oh he likes me, ਹੈਨਾ? and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਂਭ ਲੈਣੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਹਿ ਦੇਣਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਬਾਕੀ ਜੋ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕਰਨ, ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ, ਗੋਰੇ ਕਰ ਲੈਣ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਕਰ ਲੈਣ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ, and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਂਭ ਲਈ. ਪਰ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਡਾਟਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਰੱਖੀ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਸੀਕ੍ਰੇਟਸ ਰੱਖਦੀ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਹ ਤੋਂ ਸਲਾਹ ਲੈਣੀ ਆ, ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਸਲਾਹ ਲੈਣੀ ਆ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਉਮਰ ਆ, ਉਹ ਵੀ 14 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਬॉयਫ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਰੱਖ ਲਾ, ਹੈਨਾ? and then ਕੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ, 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਪੈਰੈਂਟਾਂ ਨੇ who made their children their best friends, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਪੈਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੈਸਟ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਬਣਾਤਾ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਠ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ, ਕੀਰਤਨ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਂਭ ਲਈ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਡਾਟਰ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਤਾ ਆਹ ਹੋਤਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੁੱਤ ਤੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਂਭੀ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਉਹ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਬਣਾਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਉਹ ਕੁੜੀ ਉਹ ਬॉयਫ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਰੱਖ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਆ. 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਮੰਮੀ ਡੈਡੀ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. ਉਹ 15 16 17 16 ਦੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਆ. ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਹੋਟਲ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ. ਉਹ ਕੁੜੀ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਵੱਡਾ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ. ਜੇ ਉਹ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਮੰਮੀ ਡੈਡੀ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡਫਾਦਰ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਹਿ ਦੇਣਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਆਹ ਕੰਮ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ, ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੰਮ, ਇਹ ਆਪਣਾ ਭਰਿਆ ਕਰ, ਤੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਂਭ ਲਈ. ਪਰ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ, ਉਹ ਕੁੜੀ ਦੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਹਿਣੇ ਦੀ ਸਲਾਹ ਲੈਣੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਗੋਰੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਚੱਲ ਜਾ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਆ, ਤੂੰ ਕਾਹਤੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਣੀ ਆ। ਉਹ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ। 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹ ਨਿਆਣੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ, ਮੰਮੀ ਨਾਲ ਰੋਂਦੀ ਆ, ਮਾਮ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੈਗਨੈਂਟ ਹੋ ਗਈ। ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਂਭਣੀ ਪੈਣੀ ਆ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਹੁਣ ਉਹ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆ ਗਈ। ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਡਾਟਰ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਫੈਸਲੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਸੀ, ਉਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਫੈਸਲੇ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੇ, ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਹਮਣੀ ਪੈਣੀ ਆ। ਐਂਡ ਏਦਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਫੈਮਲੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਆ। ਸੋ ਮੇਰੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਇਹ ਆ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪਸ ਇੰਪਰੂਵ ਕਰੋ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਬੈਸਟ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਬਣਾਓ, ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੇਖਣੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਣੇ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਦੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਬਣਾਓ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਣ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹ ਡਾਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, ਉਦੋਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਘਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਹੇ ਮਮ ਡੈਡ ਏਦਾਂ ਕਰ ਹੋਇਆ, ਏਦਾਂ ਸਕੂਲੇ ਹੋਇਆ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ। ਐਸਾ ਕੰਮ ਭੁੱਲ ਨਾ ਕੀਜੇ ਜਿਤ ਅੰਤ ਪਛਤਾਏ। ਵੈਸੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਛਤਾਉਣਾ ਹੀ ਆ। And this is what I'm telling you because ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਮੋਰੇ ਆ। Most people that went to America, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ 3-4 generations they are, but most people went to America went into the 80s. Most people that went to UK went into their 60s and 70s, ਹਨਾ, in the years. So ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆ, ਹਨਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦਾ experience ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ in Western countries. So ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨਾ ਦੇਖੋ, learn from the lessons that we have seen. So ਇੱਥੇ we're very good. This is what I talk about in the Sikh parenting course. ਕਿ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਸਟਰਕਚਰ ਨੂੰ ਫੰਕਸ਼ਨਲ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ, ਡਿਸਫੰਕਸ਼ਨਲ ਨਾ ਬਣਾਓ। ਐਜ਼ ਹਸਬੈਂਡ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਈਫ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਰਗੂਮੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੀ, ਵਧੀਆ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਆ, ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਸਪੀਰੇਸ਼ਨਲ ਪੈਰੈਂਟ ਬਣਨਾ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਸਟਰਕਚਰ 'ਚ ਏਦਾਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਪਾਰਟ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਧੀਆ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਬਣਾਓ। ਜੇ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ, ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ, forget the past, ਹੁਣ ਬਣਾਓ, make that for the future, ਹਨਾ। instead of ਆਪਣੇ ਹਉਮੈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿਣ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਹ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ, ਆਹ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ, basically ਉਹ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪਸ ਇੰਪਰੂਵ ਕਰੋ। ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੱਧ ਘੱਟ ਬੋਲਦਾ ਵੀ ਆ, ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਣਾ ਇਹ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂ, ਹਨਾ। ਇੱਕ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਇੱਕ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਨਾਲ ਲੜਦਾ ਸੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੂੰ ਆਹ ਕਰਦਾ, ਆਹ ਕਰਦਾ, ਆਹ ਕਰਦਾ। ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਓ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। You know, we don't always need to respond in anger, we respond in ਪਿਆਰ, ਹਨਾ। So learn how to speak to your children. ਜੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ why ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਆ ਕਰੋ। It's not a sign of disrespect, ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਇਹ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ is based on analysis rather than authority, ਹਨਾ। and ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, then realize ਉਹ ਚਿੰਤਤ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ worry ਆ, ਪਰ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਭਲਾ ਲਈ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ, ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਕਦੀ ਸੁਣ ਲਿਆ ਕਰੀਏ। and ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਏਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਬਣਾਓ ਕਿ ਇੰਨਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਬੱਚਾ ਇਹ ਨਾ ਕਹੇ ਮੈਂ ਘਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ because ਇੱਥੇ ਕਲੇਸ਼ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ। Instead, you can make your house a beautiful environment. Has that been helpful so far? I was going to talk about more things, but I've noticed the time has already gone. Okay, has any questions so far on anything we discussed this week or the previous weeks?
We have poll questions, so let's can request Sangat to answer the polls, which will help us to decide future seminars, and then we can go for Q sessions after that.
Anji, what was the question? Sorry.
Sorry, I was saying like we have poll questions for Sangat.
Okay.
For future seminars and updates. So can you request Sangat to vote so that it will help us out to decide future topics, and then we can go for questions after that.
So for ਕਈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਲਈ this is a new experience. ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ 'ਚ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ, ਹਨਾ। And this is what our generation is doing. We talk about the things that matter, ਹਨਾ। You can keep talking about ਆਹ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀ 'ਚ ਆਹ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਆਹ ਡੇਰੇ 'ਚ ਆਹ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਇੱਥੇ ਆਹ ਲੜ ਰਹੇ ਆ, but ultimately, how is Sikhi affecting your family and your life? This is the way we talk about it. If you sort your family and your life out, then holi ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ time ਹੈ ਪੰਥ ਦੇ problems ਵੀ solve ਕਰਨ ਲਈ. And for some of this might be a bit blunt for some of you. But ultimately what we're doing here is what we've been doing in UK for a whole generation, which is what it is we share good practice. ਕਿ ਚੰਗੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਚੰਗੀਆਂ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ share ਕਰੋ, ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ and learn. And the Gurdwara is a vital learning experience. But even on these calls and when we do courses and everything, ਇਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀਏ. And believe me, ਕਈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੇਸ ਰੱਖਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, ਰੱਖਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, all these other things, and they'll find hundreds of arguments ਕਿ ਕਾਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕਣਾ and everything else. Personally, I'm not interested in ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕੋ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ. It makes no difference to me. ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ, ਸਾਡੀ life is beautiful. But what I'm saying to you is, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕ ਲਿਆ, I'm living in UK. Makes no difference to me. But what I'm saying to you is, just become a beautiful person. Take the lessons of the Guru Granth Sahib and become a beautiful person. And when you become that beautiful person, wherever Maharaj takes you, just go. So if you basically, one of the biggest galt fehmiya, one of the biggest misunderstandings we have in our community is we think that Nityanem is for Amritaris. No, Nityanem or Amritariyan li lajmiya, but Nityanem sariyan liya. So if you drink and you go to the pub, you should be doing more Japji Sahib part. If you basically get angry, then you should be doing more Japji Sahib part. If you come home from work stressed out, you should do Re Rasta part and get the stress out of you before you go and talk to your kids. If you can't sleep at night, forget about having the glassie. The glassie is just going to numb your brain. Do Suhili the part. These are life skills which are there to make your life a better place. And what we believe in UK is that we want to make our Sikh community the most beautiful community on this earth. And we strive very hard to do that. That's why you find most of the speakers, most of the charities, most of the things, a lot of it comes from UK. Because consciously, we've decided we're going to make it a beautiful place. And our kids are growing up in that beautiful place. And what I'm saying to you is, yes, America, you call it the land of the free, but you're not free. You're not free. Bandi Shor Divis is not just something that we celebrate on one day. Bandi Shor Divis is basically, you need to be Bandi Shor, you need to be free from Kam Krodh Lobh Moh Ahankar. You need to be free from all the dogma in your life. You need to be free from the stress of your life. You need to be free from prejudice that you might have against not only other races, but even in our own community by believing in the caste system or other things that we have where you believe in, oh, this person's from Flani Jathebandi or Flana caste or Flana Gurdwara. All of these things are all holding you back. But basically, Sikhi is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's message is so far in terms of above everything else that you have. Just spend some time studying it. Just spend some time sharing it.
Bhai, there's a question from Sangat Bibi. How do we create a family environment when we are living in this country alone with kids? No grandparents, no masi, no chacha, nothing.
So basically, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ ਪਰ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ, and that is ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਇੱਕ generation is going through the immigrant experience. And when you go through the immigrant experience, you have identity problems. So ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ, are they American? Are they Punjabi? Are they Sikh? Are they even accepted? Because Donald Trump doesn't accept you. So basically you have that. And we basically in UK, we went through the same thing. For years, I thought I was Gora. I used to speak really posh from my grammar school. I was very articulate in terms of speaking the perfect Queen's English. And then I realized, basically, these are the people that looted Punjab. These are people that took our Raj away from us. These are basically the people that basically, if England was built, it was built from looting the Lahore treasury. All our motorways, all our big Buckingham Palace, even the crown on the Queen's head has got the Kohinoor diamond, which is basically from Punjab. And basically, why am I not confident in my Sikhi when Sikhi created all this, when all these Sada Punjab is what created all this, but that's a different topic. So basically, you have a problem where the family support structure, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਮ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ parents ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ brothers sisters ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ, ਫਿਰ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ? ਇੱਕ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਬੈਠਾ ਆ, ਕੋਈ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਬੈਠਾ ਆ, ਕੋਈ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਬੈਠਾ ਆ, because ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ immigration ਮਿਲਦੀ ਸੀ, ਕੋਈ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਬੈਠਾ ਆ, and your family structure is all split around the world. And you have to realize that causes issues. So we have to be better at communicating. And with your children, Anna, I'll tell you straight, Anna, we have a whole generation here that thought they were Gori. We even have a phrase for it called coconuts, which is brown on the outside, white on the inside. And now they just love being Sikhs. Anna, and majority of us, if we have 3,000 Naujawan sitting in Derby, Ranswai, when we have our big smagam in Basaki, where we have the Kirtan smagam Ranswais, and you'll see it, majority of them, including myself, we all came into Sikhi. Because we all started going to camps, going to these kind of webinars, educating ourselves. And you'll notice one thing in UK, no Sikh born in UK goes into the army. And I look at America, how many of your Najwans and see that as a route that they need to go to college or university with? Why don't we go to the army? Because we ethically don't believe in the foreign policy of England. We don't believe. Why should we go and die for their foreign? We've already done it in World War I and World War II, and all these other things, just to make the Rani a bit richer. No, we basically pick the right jobs because we believe now we're a nation. We believe we're a Qawm. And so your children haven't got this confidence because you haven't been able to put them in this environment. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. But start learning about who you are. Because the highest levels of mental health are in children that have no identity. Whether you look at the Inuit children in Canada, whether you look at the Native American children growing up in America, whether you look at the Aborigine children in Australia, or whether you look at all our children from all immigrant communities, because they're trying to be one thing and another. What we have is, when we were growing up, we knew we can either be British, Gore, we can be Punjabi, and then what we did through camps, we taught our children, actually, you have a third option, which is to be Sikh. And majority of your children, what's the difference between being Punjabi and being Sikh? And even I didn't know when I was growing up. I thought everything that happens in a Gurdwara is being Sikh. And no, I realized now, actually, a lot of it is being Punjabi. And Sikhi is much higher. Because if you're a Sikh, you're not involved in politics. You're not involved in that kind of stuff. You're beyond all of these things. So there's a lot of educating to do, but if you start doing it properly, you'll be very secure in who you are. And this is activities you need to do for your children, and it will take time. And doing these webinars is just planting the seeds. That firstly, you decide, you come to your own conclusions of who you are. And then you need to build your own support structures. So if you haven't got your masiya and your pena and everything else, did a local good quality, what we do in our local areas, when I do the parenting course, all the families come together that want something better for their children. And often they'll be from different Gurdwaras and different backgrounds. But then you've got a nucleus of a Sangat who want something good for their children. And they become your masiya, they become your pena, because you built a support structure for yourselves. You have so many BBR that will come from Punjab, and they'll be coming to a new environment in USA, and no one ever gives them any support. No one ever talks to them. Are you healthy? Are you happy? So we've got a long way in UK where we've created them support structures. That's what, and even in Australia, it's called Cause Australia. In UK, Carlton Foundation do all of this stuff, where we've created these support structures for BBR. And in not next week, the week after, when Diljit Kaur comes, and the week after, I'm thinking about getting Mandeep Kaur, she will come and talk to you about this, because she does this a lot worldwide. So what we're going to do in these webinars, we're going to introduce you to a lot of new ideas. Anna? Because what this is about expanding your thought processes of how you look at Sikhi. And then all of you, what I would like you to do is then collectively think how you're going to make your Sangats and the people around you, your families, everything a better place. What projects can you do? Anna? Because it's all about sharing ideas and expanding your thought processes. So the BB that says, I don't know what to do with my kids, I'll tell you straight, find out where the camps are. And I know with coronavirus, a lot of camps are shut, but they're going to open again after Easter. We know here in UK, the vaccines are coming out in December, and basically by Baisakhi, most of them should be quite proliferated. And by Baisakhi next year, life will start getting back to normal. The camps are going to happen next summer. We already, to our UK camps, we have two major camps. We have Khalsa camp, which is for teenagers, university students, and young professionals. And then in December, we have Khalsa Family Retreat.
Paisal, your video is hanged, I guess. We cannot hear you. Waheguru. Paisavji, I think, okay. So by the time Paisa joins again, I would request Sangat to please email us for your feedback. And if you guys want the updates about upcoming seminars, because like some of them, because these messages are being shared on WhatsApp groups, and I guess like some of them doesn't get update because we don't have the number saved. So it's better we can email them. So if you guys want to get registered, so please send us email to any of the host or co-host, and then we can add them to the email list, mailing list. And if you want someone else to be added to the list, so you can forward their number as well. Paisa said like trying to log back in. So why? Why?
In the meanwhile, anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask and or share via message. Thank you.
Yeah, Paisa was there. So Paisavji, we have like a couple of questions from Sangat. I think like if you can answer them in a one word or so, so that because like we are running out of time as well.
Okay, sorry, I think my internet just had a glitch, but I've logged my phone. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a question like, are there any programs created by Khalsa Foundation for kids happening in USA to teach Sikhi to the kids?
At the moment, not, because what it is we have programs all the way around the world. But this is one thing I was trying to say to you. We look at America and we look at this is the one place where the kids have the least confidence. And what we want to do is start helping through the World Sikh Parliament and all the other things that we do. And it all's going to come together with you guys. So it's about you guys doing Uddham, helping the gurus that have started these webinars. We're going to now start sharing ideas with you. And holly, the more people that join, the more momentum you create, the more cities you involve. And then holly, you then can create a platform to basically start doing things there. You know? Eventually, we want to get to the point, like we've been working with Australia now for about 8 years ago, we set up the first camps there. So many people have come into Sikhi there. And now what I'm doing there is I'm helping them become speakers. So they've got their own speakers and they don't need to rely on us anymore. But what we're looking at America is that you're a ghost town at the moment. And the reason you're a ghost town is basically is not that it's your fault. It's nothing that you guys have done wrong. It's that basically what we need there is some uddam. We need people to start thinking, we want some change. We want to create environments which our children are going to benefit from. We want to create environments where our teenagers are going to benefit. We want to create environments where our mothers, our fathers, husbands and wives can benefit from. And so this thing starts and then it builds momentum. So the more you can share ideas on these workshops, the more you build that foundation. When coronavirus is finished, we'll start coming over there, talking in your Gurdwara, talking, and we'll need you guys to help facilitate these kind of things, just like New York did when I came and did the parenting course before the coronavirus. And then what that will do is act as a catalyst in your local community for them to start thinking, this is where we need to put our attention. We need to put our attention here, not in our Gurdwara fighting or other things like that. We need to put it in a way where we're doing positive things in our community. And when you start doing all of them things, the ripple effect will come. So what you do now is going to really benefit your children in 5 and 10 years' time. So this is the key thing. So what we need is all of you to start thinking and working together, realizing that you are part of the change. We realized that a long time ago. I was the first person that spoke dual language. So the lectures I wanted to hear in the Gurdwara, I realized so I started writing them myself. And then we started setting up the charities, then we started doing everything else. And holi Sangat aap sari support kar diya, and now it's a worldwide movement. But America is the key thing, because the problem you have in America is that you live far away from each other. You've got geographical space that has its own issues. I think England, which everyone gets together in 2 hours. The whole of England can fit in one of your lakes. And we have 66 million population. So we do things very quickly. But if we didn't have Khalsa Camp, we would not now have the 4 TV channels that do 24-hour Sikhi. We wouldn't have the 11 Khalsa schools. We wouldn't have all the charities, whether they're Khalsa Aid, Sikh Relief, Khalsa Foundation, Share Charity, the World Sikh Parliament, all the things that we do. It basically all started from a few people like this going and talking to each other, and Holly started working together. So really start supporting these kind of webinars, exchanging ideas, start thinking about how practically you're going to learn these things. So things that you learn today, go away and basically improve your family structures and improve the relationship with your children. And then Holly, everything will start coming together. Now we've realized with Zoom, we can do more things in more locations. So if you guys want to facilitate something in your locality with your local Sangat, basically tell the Gursikhs that are on here and we can set things up. I know we can start doing things, but to be time efficient, we would rather do these webinars where we start covering the whole of America, because in some we can, like we had in the first one, we had close to 100 people on here. That's doable. And then we make it even more. So, but this is not a good way of communicating. The best way of communicating is obviously one-to-one, and Marj Kirpa in future ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹੇਠ ਆ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰੋਗੇ.
Adding to this, Paisa, I think like there's one point if I can add to Sangatas, like everyone who is attending these seminars, so if they can forward to their local Sangat and their family and friends, so with this they can also create one Sangat like environment when this COVID ends. So they can also create this environment in their local area once they forward, so that everyone can have Laha and then they can join the seminar. There is a question from UK, Sangat. Some of us have been conditioned by our parents to focus on education first, as they struggle when they first come to this country. Now I have children of my own, and I feel like I'm constantly pushing my young children to study first, and Sikhi is taking a back seat. What advice can you give to most of us who have been conditioned to prioritize study over Sikhi?
Okay, the first thing is that the reason we do that, every immigrant community does this, because ਜਦੋਂ ਲੋਕ struggle ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, they want their children always to have a better life. So every immigrant community pushes education in their children. Once you become educated, you realize, like I tell my children, they don't need to pay a mortgage in their life. I've got enough property, then they're going to have to pay a mortgage. So I say to them, you can go and become a poet, go and become a musician, go and become a sports, do what actually you're passionate about in your life. So this is very normal in immigrant communities, because financially you're not stable. So what I would say to you is education is important, but more important is the happiness and the mental health of your children. And sometimes what happens is we push our children so much into education, we don't realize that they're struggling with their mental health and their happiness. And the world, the way the education system is going to change in the world is that now you can go online and go and get a degree from Harvard. My third degree, I went and did it through Open University here. The education system is because 60% of the people coming out of university don't even know what they want to do. They go and do something different to what they study. Because you live in a world where the children have so much choice that they're confused. And this is a totally different thing we will talk about. We can have a seminar on this in terms of what I did this morning with Australia is the difference between intelligence and emotional intelligence. And I showed them how the Guru Granth Sahib makes you emotionally intelligent. And for you to be successful in life is not just about making your children intelligent. You need to teach your children how to be emotionally intelligent. The difference is they need to realize how to be intelligent and how to operate that intelligence in this world. What too many people do, I'm sure you went to school and you had these people who always got straight A's and had studied classic Latin and Greek literature and all this other stuff, and they can't do anything in life because all they were just academics. So we have to teach our children how to vichar in the world. And so education is just part of the puzzle. It's not the complete puzzle. And the other thing I would say to you is we've also seen that when we teach our children how to do Simran, so the generation of Bachche that started with me 20 years ago, they're all top doctors and lawyers and everything now. Because if you teach your children to sit with a gotka when they're young, they learn how to focus. So when they basically read a book, they're more focused. Educationally, they get stronger. So all the Gursikh children that are in our Sangat have all got, that's why I don't know anybody in our Sangat that hasn't gone to university and got a degree. Because the more Simran and Path you do at a young age, the better you get at focusing, remembering, understanding how to apply what you're doing. So these are vital skills that comes from Sikhi. But the problem is that you don't always have them environments in your Gurdwara, or you might not necessarily have them right role models which inspire your children. But what I would say to you is those role models exist. You just need to start accessing them.
There's one short question from someone. Yes, I thought job is what is going to change a person than just reading nickname. So should you do job instead of reading nickname?
Sorry, say that again. Was it job of like why Guru Simran?
Yeah, so I think the question is like, if we do Simran, like say, maybe in the seminar, that person got to understand like Simran is what going to change a person than just reading nickname. So he or she should do job of Simran instead of reading nickname.
You shouldn't do it instead of doing Nitram. You should do it with your Nitram. So when you do your Nitram, you can do Simran with it, either before it, during it, or after it. So Simran is what is the thing that's going to make you a calm person is the more Simran you do. And when you take Amrit, the Panch Pyarim give you Sas Gras Simran. So you basically, because the one thing you do 24 hours is breathe. And when you start learning to do Simran in your breath, it becomes a longer process than just your Nitram. You do it when you're driving, you do it when you're playing football, you do it when you're even watching TV. There'll be that Simran going on inside you. And that's when it becomes a 24 hours thing. And that's what's really going to change you as a human being. Your Nitram is essential. And your Nitram is your armor against Kaljuk. And I'll talk about that in a separate thing about how your Nitnem is there to protect you from the thieves of Kam, Krodh, Lo, Monkar. Your Simran, your Abhyas is there to make you a beautiful person. And that is in your breath. Both come hand in hand, not one or the other. You know? Okay.
I think that's all for today. Like, there's no other questions.
Okay. So what I would like all the Sangtan to do is think of this as seeds. Think of this as catalysts. Think of this also as bite-sized Sikhi. So every week you're going to learn something, then take it home, absorb it, and think, how am I going to use what I learned today to make my life a better place? And apply it. That's why we call it bite-sized Sikhi. You've got to apply it. Then next week you'll learn something else and apply it. Next week you'll learn something else. If you, even if there's 60, 70 of you on here, if you create yourselves beautiful jivans, beautiful lives, then you've created a platform which other Gursikhs then can come in and help you, and then you start bringing change in your society in American Sikhs. It's a massive project. It'll take a whole lifetime to do, but because we've already done it in our countries, and people are doing it in other countries, there's nothing wrong with you guys doing it there. But you have bigger challenges than we have here in UK, because here in UK they encourage multicultural society. In America, you have a policy of the melting pot. What that means is they realize eco generation is going to keep their culture. Dua generation will have half of it and the rest will be American. The third generation will be 100% American. That is what they call it, the melting pot, because Sikhi, everything about them will melt in, and there'll be just another Tom, Dick, and Harry. And so you guys got to realize that you have a challenge of preserving who you guys are and preserving the beauty of what Sikhi gives you. And believe me, if you look at all the things that are happening in America, I looked yesterday at a documentary called What Your Health on Netflix, and I was shocked at your food system, your health system, your pharmaceutical system, all the things that would never happen in Europe. Yeah, you as a human beings, you're being totally abused in America because big business is more powerful than the health of your citizens. We have free healthcare, so it's in the government's interest for them to save money to keep the population healthy. Because you don't have free healthcare, they don't care about what's happening with the population. There's so many things going on in America. We just look at it and we think, oh my God, we're so happy we don't live in America. And I don't want to put you off. I don't want you to think you're going to emigrate. But what I'm just going to say is that basically there's so many things that you guys, because what it is I remember speaking to someone from Iraq, and I said to them, you guys, do you not realize that you're not free? And she said to me, the difference is we realize we're not free and we accept it. You guys are not free and you don't even know it. And this is the reality, is you're given this false narrative that you guys are free and you got all these things in America. Actually, your society has got some real issues, whether it's race, health, so many other things. And Sikhi is going to be one of the things that's going to give your children some kind of sanity in that world. You believe in America, there's a lot of people in America that believe by having more guns, you're going to be safer. We have no guns in the UK. We're very safe. The whole way of thinking is there, and your children are being conditioned. When your children go to school, certain amount of what they're getting at school is education, but another percentage of what they're getting at school is conditioning. They're being conditioned to think in certain ways. And so you have to realize you have to give your children options and introduce them to other thought processes. And for me, the best thought process I've ever seen on this earth is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's. So introduce that to your own lives and introduce that thought process to your children's lives. Buljuk Maaf Karna, I hope you found this helpful. Next week, you'll have a different speaker. The week after, you'll have a different speaker. And every week, we're going to try and make these sessions interesting. But the Guru Sikhs who are facilitating this can only do it if you keep filling in the polls, keep giving them feedback. If there's something you didn't like, then think of it that was from me. If there's something that you liked from anything I said, think of it, that's from Guruji. So think of it as a blessing. Buljuk Maaf Karna. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
We are looking for Sangat Fateh, so I think everyone can say Fateh at least.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
ਫਤਿਹ।
ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਪਰ ਇਹ ਉਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਦੇਖੋ ਹਫਤਾ 10 ਦਿਨ ਤੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੀਲ ਹੋਣ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜਦੋਂ ਪੂਲ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਯੈਸ ਹਿੱਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਹਿੱਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ। ਉਹ
I think ਉਹ ਪੋਲ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, that's why we ended that poll session. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੇਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਵਿੱਚ।
ਵਾਹ ਕਰੋ, ਮਾਫੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜੀ, ਦਾਸ ਮਾਫੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੀ।
ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਹਾਂ ਠੀਕ।
ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਈਮੇਲ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਭੇਜ ਸਕਦੇ, ਮੈਂ ਟਰਾਈ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ।
ਆਪ ਜੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਕੈਂਪ NYNJ@gmail.com ਹੈਗਾ, ਆਪ ਜੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਈਮੇਲ ਭੇਜ ਸਕਦੇ ਜੀ। ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਟੈਕਸਟ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਭੇਜ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਜੀ।
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ, ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
ਸੁਖਤੇਜ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, can you please forward that email? Rupinder Kandola ਜੀ, ਖਾਲਸਾ ਕੈਂਪ।
Jagjit Singh ji, we're saving the chats, right? Even the private messages?
Yeah, you can say everything.
Okay.
ਹਾਂਜੀ